Lunch is over. We'll take our lock ring off here. What are we hitting on here, folks? I want to go the rest of the way. Nothing. Gotta learn how to use aim. That's big. Watch out, she'll flick you. Set that over there. First thing first, we're gonna give this the old suck job. So I've got our gas caddy here. We're gonna take and draw out all this old fuel. That way when we put the tank in, we put it in empty. Get that right towards the bottom. Let's see, we gotta prop this up with something. Prop her up with the old nano. She's heavy. Alright, that should get all our gas down in one side there. So this looks pretty straightforward. Unplug it. Their filter off there. Let's see. We got a new pump here. We got a Delphi pump. Let's see what kind of goodies this comes with. Oh, lots of stuff. Let's see. I'll take the same connector. Find out here before we get too far. It does take the same connector. Alright, we'll put our little sock on it here. Got our gasket for the bottom, which is different. So you can see it's entirely different, so that will not work. We're going to have to use the OEM one. Bunch of other parts and pieces here. We'll just need the gasket. Hopefully that one works. And that's about it. That's all it comes with that is of any use. So a little piece of foam here. We'll swap that over for what it's worth. Get her slid back up in here. Delphi strainer too. This pump is oriented slightly different on the bottom. this does. You know, it's not going to work at all in that style holder. Awesome. And then this OEM rubber does not fit on there because of those plastic tabs there. Needs a couple little slits cut in that rubber in order to make that work. It will fit in the plastic housing, or it will fit in the housing once it's, you know, if we're able to cut a couple slits in there. Well, that sucks. But when you go aftermarket, I would have thought Delphi would probably have been about our best bet. But you can see I was clearly wrong. Alright, let me see see if we can mark this. Perhaps we'll snip this out a little bit with a pair of cutters. That way we can get it fit down in there well, and you know, we can get our strainer on there good. So let me see if I can't, you know, perhaps trim the OEM one. I think that'll be our best option. Alright, so there we go. I just trimmed out, you know, the factory rubber, so it'll fit around those plastic pegs a little better. I think that's gonna, oops, get our little piece on here, get that back in there. Should be able to, okay, that slips right up in there, just lovely. Okay, now we can stick our fuel strainer on. Make sure you got everything right when you put your strainer on, because once that's on, you just bought it. Squeeze that little metal clamp back on there. That, folks, is that. Alright, well, it came with a few extra things that we don't need. Save that, save the little rubber caps, these are handy. You know, we got 9 million of them. You never know. It's the old pumps, an old school gear style gear pump. Pretty cool. Like I said, this pump worked, turned on, the car would run, started running, you just couldn't rev it up. Couldn't give it any throttle and let it stall. Just enough fuel pressure to keep going. This must be for some other system. I'm sure this pump fits everything. So that's why you can't expect it to fit perfect. I don't know if this original gasket was round initially or not. See, it's starting to crack there pretty good. We'll save it just in case. We'll go put this thing back in there. That's on the small side. Gotta stretch the rubber out a little first. Ever have that problem? Get it just right. Okay, that looks like it'll be good. Boy. Oh, I got all the gas out of it too. Took about 9 gallons out of it. So, 100 pounds a gallon, that explains why it was so heavy. Get this up by the edge so our lines can hang over. Get her started, and we'll re-straighten our O-ring and all that. Wow. Oh man, sure makes you appreciate modern cars, I'll tell you that. At least for me it does. Never been a big fan of really old cars, I guess. I don't know why. I like old tractors. What is up? What we got over here for tools? Nothing. Where's my knife? Always got my knife. What is this? It's like this side of the sending unit doesn't want to go down in far enough. But it doesn't feel like it's springy, like it's on the rubber. It feels mechanical. Lines aren't hidden. Hello? Hello? Frustrating. Maybe that's how much tension it has on it. Oh. What do I know? One thing I probably ought to do. We gotta make sure our O-ring is up in there where it needs to be. I think the best way to do that is to have this tank level. That'll work. That'll work. No nano, she's pretty universal. I'll make darn sure that O-ring, so it barely sits on a lip. You know, you don't want to get this thing in. Find out you're wrong. I don't care if it's new, old, or what it is. You don't want to find that out the hard way. AKA putting gas in it. It's not a job you want to do twice. So of course I'm paranoid and suspicious of the O-ring, naturally. It feels snug. Oh, we better smoke it. I mean, we got it right here. We can just hook the smoke machine to it and plug off the pressure and return, and we can smoke it in like that vent line and see where, if any smoke comes out. 'Cause I want to know right now, and I don't want to put it in and have to take this thing back out. Right, we've got our smoker. She's smoking. Hook her up to one of these. Let's hook it to this one. See what that does. So we've got our flow gauge here that you can't see, but you'll see right now. So we've got our flow gauge floating up here. We'll probably have to plug off these lines here, I'm sure. So I'll hold my little fingers over them. And what we want to see is we want to see our flow gauge get right down to Zippo, which is probably going to take it a little while. And that'll verify that we have no leaks or that we have a big, huge leak. So it's getting down. It's got a lot of volume to fill, so I want to see it go all the way to the bottom. So our gauge made it all the way to 0. I got sick of holding my hands on it, so I put a few little rubbers on there. We should be able to, the smoke's still on, so we should be able to hear that. So it is holding pressure, even though that one's split. Now our flow gauge is back up. Alright, so I'm confident that our O-ring is sealed and everybody's going to be happy. Alright, well, now that we know we have no leaks, checking with the smoke machine, some time has passed here, I'm trying to figure out where it was. The little straps here were falling off the gas tank straps, the little fiber things they have here, so I just threw a little black tape around them so we can get a tank in there and get those back on. Tank's empty. I'm going to try to finagle it back up through there. Shouldn't be too big a deal because it's about 900 pounds less than it was when it came out. So hopefully it goes well. Alright, let's see. I don't even remember. Let's see. Oh, I know she was snug. Hold that up, Kelly. Oh, look at that. Look at that glove. Let's see if we can mess that again. You're at school.
Yep.
Get educated. Learning who knows what.
Some worthless stuff.
Worthless stuff, exactly. Wonder, tell you what, we'll go like this. We'll put our jack under the axle, we'll get our purple stand back, stick that under the tank, that'll be a whole lot less pumping. Straighten out the table. Actually, just flip it. There we go. Come on, little fella. We're on my thigh. Alright, give me the purple stand hand. You can let that thing down now. Let me get some more of these stands here. There we go. Wow. Starting to get arm pump. Alright, so that's that. Now we can take and reverse the procedure that we've already done. I guess we can start by putting our straps back in here and bolts back on the floor. Alright. Thank you, Jim. There's that one. Now we got tweaked a little. No big deal. I'm going to obviously need a little extension. Let's see here. Alright. I got the bolts started. We're just going to go in there and zip them down. There. A pain in the neck to get started, to say the least. The bolts are just a smidge too short. Always seems. They're tight. That's out of the way. plug that in. Find out what I did with the little lock. Wherever I put that, we'll get that put back in there. There it is. It's like the OEM baby. Alright, so there's that. Now we just gotta take and I'm gonna get all the fuel lines hooked back up, get them buttoned up, and then we're pretty much in the home stretch. Now that the fuel lines are in place, we're gonna jack it up, hook the shocks back up here. And then we'll hook the sway bar back up, throw the... Wonder if I should fish those heat shields back in here. Nah, they'll fit. No, I'm gonna fish them heat shields in before we get this side of the rear axle up. That way we've got some room to work in here. I think that'll be a smarter idea. Oh, let's see, how did this one go? You remember, Hannah? No, you don't, because you were in school. Let's see, like that, huh? It's like I suspected it like that. I don't think you guys need to see this, because you've seen the tearing apart, and you know all it's going to be is me dropping fasteners for about the next 10 minutes. We sneak these heat shields in here. Probably the smartest thing to do would be put some gas in it and see if this pump is any good. But we'll take chances. Okay, heat shields are in place. Now we will get this shock over here lined up and the sway bar lined up. Hopefully at the same time. Well,
Is that a Corvette, Papa?
where's that, buddy? This car here?
Yeah.
That's like a cheaper version of a Corvette.
Stuck on this.
Huh? Oh, that's my problem, huh? Okay, them shock bolts are in. What was I doing, wiggling this thing all around? No. Giving everybody a little ride. Free.
Can I tell you, Papa?
Huh?
Can I tell you when you take a ride?
Take a ride in this thing?
Yeah.
You don't want to ride in this.
If you do.
Have you ever rode in Mommy's minivan?
Yeah.
That's twice as fast.
Uh,
Huh? Huh?
No?
Yeah, it was 1988, man. Mommy's minivan's 275 horsepower. This thing's probably 240. I mean, there's the whole power to weight thing. Why, you got any good Leonard Skinner tapes?
Won't you do that?
Huh? You do? You know that song you like to listen to, I Can't Drive 55? That's kind of the same era as this car.
But you drive to 120.
Yeah, we could put it in here. We could pull this with my Tundra and get her up to 120. Huh?
No.
No?
You can drive into 100.
Oh, I see. Alright, let's see. Now we probably got some GM guy mad at us. Huh? You want to talk to me now? Let's see, we'll grab our socket here. What do we have? 3/4? I mean, what's 3/4? We'll knock down these,
This?
oh man. Oh, let's go straight down. Now, gotta be legit about it. Just got to jack my jackmat on. And we'll tighten down the struts. I'm gonna put the sway bar bushing back in there, or the sway bar link, get that hooked back up. I've already gone through, put in both tin shields. That went well. Then we just gotta lift our exhaust up, put the one hanger that was existent back in it. Oh my gosh, did you guys just watch me do this? Oh, this is the part of the video I should edit out. You know. This part. Hannah.
What? What?
Oh my gosh. I said she'll cut that part out of the video. We're sitting here cracking Chevy jokes. And here I am. I can't even remember to put in a spring. Wow. Alrighty then. That's what I get, Hannah. I think they call that like instant karma or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So I've just seen if anybody's paying attention. So whoever noticed this, you win. Watch out, Evan. That is perhaps the funniest thing I've done all day. And that, folks, is what makes the Self-Made Auto channel real. Oh, yeah, it's almost too stupid to take out. Right, Hannah?
Right.
You call me stupid?
Maybe.
No. Accident prone, maybe. Let's see. I can't believe I did that. Wow, what a rookie. Them Chevy guys are at home. That's right, I'd be laughing too. See that, Evan? That's what happens when you get talking, not paying attention. Right? Making mistakes. Making mistakes like a pro. What else did I forget? Let's see. Alright. What are you doing? Huh? Think that's funny? Your sister put about 20 miles on that bike today, you know. Gotta get them spring seats lined back up. No wonder that rear end went up in so easy. Oops, that's not working. Come on, baby. There she goes. It makes a little more sense to me now.
Yeah?
Yeah. Wow.
Not my pants.
Alright. Well, we're gonna put the shocks on. Whoa. There. Now we can put the jack away. Oh my gosh, how embarrassing. This video may not play. You ever do anything embarrassing, Evan?
Your dogs are moving the camera.
Oh man. We got illegal dog fighting at SMA. Well, that has got to be my most embarrassing moment on SMA videos.
Gotta have one of those.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, we go put that purple stand up front. You see where that pipe's got to go in the converter?
Yep. Watch out.
Just kind of line that up. I got it now. Look at that. Okay. Just crank it down right there. Other way, yeah. Right tight. I'm gonna have to write that on that stand. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we will get this up here. I'll put the hanger, one hanger that was on it, back on it. We'll stick our bolts in the, up there in the converter, so this was in the hanger. Get this on and we'll stick, I got some new 3/8 bolts to put back in that converter. Get that tightened down. After we get this on, of course that other hanger here broke. That probably needs to be welded back to the plate. Been welded before, but you see it broke. So we'll call him, see if he wants that done. Or not. We'll see what he says. Alright. There. Looks good. Alright. As good as it was. Woo. I'm allergic to work. Okay. Now we just got this tractor bar. Better look and make sure we don't have many parts left. The other bar. You know what? I'm probably gonna have to loosen up that over here a little bit more. Loosen this bolt up because that'll give us a little more room to spread that open a little. Get in there a bit easier. I know we loosened this up just a little bit. We'll go a little bit more. That should help. She is, baby.
What is?
This hole, we're lining up the holes.
Are you actually doing a video?
Huh?
Are you actually doing a video?
Yeah, baby. You know what?
I'm not a baby.
Oh. You'll always be my baby, Gavin.
No.
Huh?
No.
No? You're my little boy, Gavin.
No.
Huh? You always be baby Gavin to me. It's because you're 9.
No.
I'll get these bolts in. We'll get everything snugged up. I think we're in the home stretch. Okay, with only minor forgetfulness, we're back to where we started. The springs are now installed. When you do this track bar, I guess you want to call it track bar, whatever its proper terminology is, set the car back on the ground, you know, on jack stands, or jack the axle back up with your training jack, then tighten the bolt down. Keeps the twist out of that bushing. Same thing, you know, on this end here too. Oh, you tighten those down. So, but you can see we're all back together. We've got our shocks back reinstalled. Our sway bar link is put back in, and we got that tightened back down there. So that's all good. What else? Oh, we've got our exhaust bolted back down. So that's happy again. Let's see. Exhaust hanger. Got our tin shields. Oh, we put our shield back in there with the single screw. But like I said, I think it's supposed to have more. I think it's probably supposed to have one like there. Yeah, probably just an extra one there, perhaps. Which is MIA. And same thing with the exhaust. We'll get this thing up and running, and then we'll see if the guy wants to, you know, fix that so that's not banging all around. But I think his intention is to sell this car, so he probably wants little as possible. Oh, and before anybody asks, the fuel filter is brand new. He told me that he changed that, so not to put one on. So I'll just follow his instructions there. Gas lines are all hooked back up. I'm gonna say at this point, minus the tires, we should be ready to go, and we'll throw a little fuel in this thing, see if it runs. So everything is hooked up. I was looking up the fuel pressure specs. So right there we got PFI, so we've got it in as a 88, you know, Firebird. And PFI, all others, 40 to 47 PSI. And that is going to be deadhead pressure, well, not deadhead pressure, but that is going to be key on, engine off. We just put a few gallons of gas in it. And I come over here, and we're only about 36, 37 PSI. Is the key off, Hannah? Okay, go ahead and turn it off. So before with this car, what was happening is when the car would run, key on engine running, it was only about 22 PSI. It was really, really low pressure. You know, you couldn't, you know, if you came up here, I should have shown this before so everybody could see, but you give it gas, it would just like, whoa, 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 you know, just dog right down, just nothing. You could sit here and hold it right to the floor, and the engine would not rev up. It would just sit here and pop, backfire out the intake, and all that. So the customer, you know, put a fuel filter on it. He put a throttle position sensor on it. I think he said he swapped out the mass airflow. Did some Swaptronics. It's no valve, brought it to us. You know, quick fuel pressure check revealed this. Plus, when we had the scanner plugged in, it was running super, super lean. Even at an idle, the car would barely idle. It would stall. You know, all kinds of symptoms. So, so here's what I'm going to show you. I still think. If we want to obtain 40 PSI, I still think we have a little issue, but we need to make sure that our pump has the ability to create 40 PSI, so I'll try to do that. Turn the key on, Hannah. So you can see there, where'd it go up to, about 38. Okay, shut the key off, Hannah. So right down here, we've got our pressure line, our return line. So what I'm going to do, reach in my back pocket, and we're going to make the pump. We're going to make her talk a little bit. So what we'll do is I'm going to remove some of this loom, and then ever so carefully we're going to come down here, and I'm going to give her the squeezeroo when Hannah turns the key on. When we see the pump start to prime, we're just going to give this a little squeeze, and we're going to make sure that the pressure can go up, you know, up above our specified spec. How's that for some words? Our specified spec, our specified pressure. And if it does, we'll assume at that point we also have a problem with the fuel pressure regulator, which the regulator seems to work because it holds pressure, so that's good. Okay, go ahead and turn the key on, Hannah. I'm gonna, oh yeah, look at that. Yeehaw. So you've seen that shot up to 60 PSI. All I was doing is briefly squeezing it. Turn the key off, because I didn't want it to just sit there and deadhead. We'll give it just a second for everything to reset here. Actually, Hannah, why don't we go ahead and start it? We'll see if the car revs up. Yeah, just make sure it's in neutral, and then go ahead and start it. Woo-ma, baby. Okay, so with it running, I'm going to reach down here and squeeze the return line a little. Yeah, so we can see that pump has the ability to make pressure. So that's kind of interesting. It's almost like we had, you know, two problems with the car. You go ahead and shut off, Hannah. But, you know, before we weren't able to diagnose it because the pump was so low on pressure. It was all the way down to, you know, the 20 PSI, and the car would hardly run. All that definitely smells like it runs now. These stinky old cars. But yeah, it appears to me, if this fuel pressure spec is right, this 40 PSI, I'll do a little more dig and see if that is right. If it is, then I can only assume that our pressure regulator is bad, not, you know, regulating the pressure. I don't know if these are... I don't know if they're adjustable. I see they're totally replaceable, rebuildable. It's like a big diaphragm spring one that lives under the intake there on the fuel rail. But like I say, it does hold pressure. And who knows, truth be told, you know, this car may run just fine because we got good volume and we're only, you know, a few PSI short of where it should be. I don't know. It's gonna be up to the customer now. We'll call him, see what he wants to do, see if he wants to drive it. You know, see if the baby runs like a Banshee, because Banshees are runners. And then we'll take it from there. If we do get the job of changing out the fuel pressure regulator, I'll certainly keep you guys informed. And I think another thing I'm gonna do before it leaves is I'm gonna throw the scan tool back on it. We've got the old OBD1 adapter here for this little guy. We'll throw that on there, see if it's still running lean. This thing was running super lean at an idle, so lean to the point, like I say, it would stall. And I probably should have done a little video on that, but it just didn't happen. So that's it. Show's over. But even though you put a new fuel pump in, make sure you're definitely checking your specs, because you could be just like this situation where it just ends up being two different problems. But fortunately, the car runs now, so that's a plus. And the other thing is Google Plus. Check us out there. Facebook, there too, and subscribe to our channel. I don't know why you haven't yet, but you should do it, and you'll enjoy it because you'll get notifications each and every day, probably, or every other day, or maybe once a week, or whenever we put out a video. I know you'll get them then. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Don't forget your springs. Thanks for watching.